Here is an unfortunate reality for those looking to buy a home. The housing market may never crash. It will recede someday, but if home prices have stayed resilient in the face of rising interest rates and recessionary sentiments, then it shows that almost nothing will derail the market. If it does happen, it probably won't be much of a drop anyway. The huge crash that potential homeowners are waiting for may just turn out to be a 10 to 20% dip from today's highs, which, by the way, just set another all-time record again. According to Zillow, US homes reached an average price of $350,000 through the first half of 2023. So, why do we believe that the current housing market isn't just a bubble and home prices won't drop anytime soon? It comes down to supply and demand, but with a few extra wrinkles. In this video, we break down how the structure of the housing market ensures that demand is greater than supply. We will also show how current homeowners, as well as potential buyers, both act to reduce the supply even further, which leads to even higher prices for everyone. Weren't we all expecting the recent bubble to burst and for housing prices to come crashing down to 2008 levels? Many experts expected the Federal Reserve's aggressive interest rate hikes, which would generate higher mortgage rates, to reduce demand and negatively impact the price of homes. But it seems that the opposite has occurred. A big crash is also less likely now due to the tighter lending standards that evolved from the lessons that banks learned in 2008, making it much less likely for current homeowners to default on their mortgage payments. Housing costs aren't just an issue in the US, of course. Home prices around the world are holding steady as well. For instance, Paris, a city that many believe has become overvalued, has seen their housing prices drop just 4% in the last year. That means a $500,000 apartment still costs $480,000, hardly a meaningful reduction. Meanwhile, other cities like London and Singapore have actually witnessed a growth in their home values over the past year. There does not seem to be any relief in sight either. Zillow predicts housing prices in the US will continue to climb by over 3% every year for the next 3 years. Goldman Sachs has offered a similar outlook, expecting prices to rise modestly in the next 2 years and increase almost 4%. So, why does it seem that home prices only go up? The biggest reason why home prices have not dropped recently is due to the growing number of people who want and need housing across the globe. The demand for homes has been considerably higher than the supply of homes for quite some time now. Why? Well, we now have the highest population in the history of humankind, and we are not building new housing fast enough, especially as people migrate from less dense and prosperous areas to places with stronger economic opportunities. It takes time and supportive legislation to allow these more desirable locations to expand, and they currently cannot keep up with the pace of demand in the short term. The National Association of Home Builders estimates the housing shortage deficit to be almost 4 million homes and expects this shortage to last until the end of the 2020s. But surely governments and home builders understand the urgency for new homes and will supply them for every class in the long run, right? Well, you might be surprised to find out that there's more money for everyone involved if new builds cater towards the high-end market. Unless they are forced to develop affordable options, most home builders will seek to construct larger, more luxurious homes that they can then sell for more money. On top of that, there are regulations in each US city that requires minimum lot sizes to help control density. That creates a minimum size and cost, and forces people to pay for more house and land than they may need. It also incentivizes developers to build a few large, luxury apartments rather than a bunch of small ones. Local governments also benefit when these upscale builds attract wealthier buyers, who will then attract more high-end businesses to cater to their needs. These richer residents and businesses will both then contribute more tax revenue to the city as well. So, we have established that the major problem is that there is more demand than supply. But what is the root cause of this issue? New construction will add extra units onto the market eventually, but what about existing homes? Shouldn't there be a natural turnover of homes as families get bigger, people get new job opportunities, or people retire and move to Florida? What we have today instead is the perfect storm for staying put. Families are having fewer children than in the past, if they have them at all, while remote jobs allow people to work from anywhere, and retirees are realizing the value and scarcity of homes and are keeping them in the family. Why sell your paid-off home when you could rent it out or allow your kids to inherit it? Of course, we are all living longer than ever before as well. Meanwhile, homeowners who have bought in the last 10 years likely secured an extremely favorable interest rate that is 3 to 5 times lower than what it is today. In fact, it is estimated that 85% of current mortgage holders are locked into a sub 5% interest rate. Unless they lose their job, these homeowners are never going to sell their home. As a result of all of this, inventory of existing homes for sale is now 40% lower than it was in 2019, back when life and the market was just a bit more normal. So, not only is there an ever-growing demand of hopeful homeowners, but the existing supply has rapidly shrunk as well. It looks like we have a demand and a supply problem. Usually, a free market would reach some sort of equilibrium over time if there are no new unexpected inputs. But 2 new sets of buyers have recently entered the market, adding to an already oversaturated demand pool. Many lucrative markets are now being infiltrated by foreign investors and corporate entities. There are numerous foreign investors who are flush with cash and have nothing else worthwhile to invest in their home country. Therefore, they seek out growing communities in other countries where they can speculate on the appreciation of housing. The same is true with companies. We've reached a point where investment companies, particularly private equity firms, have generated so much excess cash that they need to find new markets to park it in. In fact, roughly 1/4 of all home sales were to real estate investors in 2022. But how did these investment firms benefit from buying up homes? Well, they could rent them out, or renovate and flip them, or play another trick to quickly increase their value. Picture this scenario. An investment company buys a home in an up-and-coming area for $300,000. They spend another $200,000 to fully renovate it and transform it into a luxury offering. They then list it for $1 million. Of course, it's not inherently worth anything close to that value, and every other house on the street is still just worth $300K. But they persuade a business partner to buy it. This sale gives the market the perception that this neighborhood is now worth more. So, the investment firm then buys up several other homes in the neighborhood and does the same thing. Now, these latest $1 million listings seem more reasonable, and people who are either desperate or love the idea of moving to this now upscale neighborhood come in and buy up all the homes. As bad as all of these issues sound, there are other forces that may eventually help to cool off the market and make homes affordable again. For instance, the normalization of working from home as a permanent fixture should allow people to move places with a higher supply and lower demand for housing. In turn, the unused commercial real estate could then be converted to residential housing, assuming that legislation and zoning laws are altered to allow for this. What about the long-term outlook of the economy? What if there are widespread job losses due to AI? In that case, the vast majority of people will then have no money to buy or rent any type of housing. That's when governments will need to step in and provide for such a fundamental need. The question then is, will they develop soulless concrete complexes or some more human-friendly options? In free societies, the government is the voice of the people, so it will be up to us to shape the future that we want. Are you in the market for a home? Do you think you will ever buy one? Let us know in the comments below. Also, please like and subscribe for more original insights. As always, thanks for watching.